My wife and I have been married for 7 years without a child. Then, in our 8th year, she was finally pregnant. I was ecstatic until the day my best friend, Marcus Vance, sent me a video of himself sleeping with my wife. In the video, my wife, Joanna, was passionately biting Marcus's collarbone. "It's fine," she whispered. "As long as we're careful, we won't hurt the baby." "Are you sure the baby in your belly is mine?" he asked. "Oh, Marcus," she cooed. "I've been feeding Connor male birth control pills for the last 7 years. His body is completely wrecked. There's no way he could get anyone pregnant. He was so happy when he found out you were pregnant, like he wanted to tell the whole world." "You're so cruel," Marcus said. "I've never loved Connor," Joanna replied. "I only ever wanted to have your baby, Marcus." Just like that, my perfect marriage was shattered. My heart turned to ash. I arranged for a staged car accident and then fled to Italy. I stared, frozen, at my phone screen, the sound of Joanna's moans filling my ears. My mind went completely blank as I watched the woman I'd been married to for 8 years, but Marcus's iMessages kept flooding in. "Joanna is carrying my child. Those birth control pills she's been feeding you every day have ruined your body. You'll never be able to have children of your own. Joanna also says I'm the only one who can satisfy her. If you know what's good for you, you'll disappear from our lives." Marcus sent another picture. Joanna, asleep. "She's lying right next to me now," the text read. "She's going to be staying with me for a while." Refusing to believe it, I called Joanna. Her voice was thick with sleep when she answered. "Honey, what's wrong?" I was sleeping. I softened my tone, trying my best to sound normal. "I miss you. Where are you? When are you coming home?" "I'm at my mom's. Where else would I be? I'm just going to spend a few more days with her, then I'll be back." "Don't miss me too much, okay?" Hearing her voice, my hands, clenched around the phone, began to shake uncontrollably. A moment later, another smug message from Marcus arrived. "See? Joanna's love for you is all a lie. She only married you to keep her parents happy. Be smart and file for divorce. I don't want my child calling you dad." Joanna and I were in our 8th year of marriage, but we'd never been able to have a child. We had tried everything over the past 7 years. I had even started to suspect that the problem was with me. I suggested I get checked out by a doctor, but Joanna always stopped me. "Connor, you're a man. It would be embarrassing if people found out you were getting that kind of test. Don't blame yourself," she'd say. "It must be my fault. I've always been frail." Seeing her so upset and seemingly protective of me, I felt a pang of guilt and dropped the idea. I figured these things were a matter of fate anyway. If we were never meant to have a child, then so be it. Then, last month, Joanna told me she was pregnant. I was so overcome with emotion, I burst into tears of joy right there. I called all our friends and family and posted her ultrasound picture on my Facebook page. Everyone who knew us understood how difficult the last 7 years had been, and they all offered their heartfelt congratulations. For the past month, I treated Joanna like she was made of glass, terrified she might trip or bump into something. 2 days ago, she asked to go stay with her mother for a while. I offered to clear my schedule and go with her, but she wasn't keen on the idea. "Connor, you're overreacting. My mom will take perfect care of me. I'll check in with you every day, okay? We can video chat." I frowned, telling her I was still worried. Joanna just pouted and playfully whined. "Honey, you're so focused on this baby. Does this mean I won't matter anymore once he's born? Ever since I got pregnant, all you think about is the baby. I'm going to ignore you now." Seeing her pretend to be upset, I caved and nodded. All right. The baby is just a wonderful bonus. You're the one I care about most. If you want to go, then go. Just be safe." I never imagined she was actually going to meet Marcus. My phone rang. It was Marcus. I answered, and his smug voice came through the line. "So, Connor, were you filing for divorce?" I gripped my phone, my voice trembling. "Marcus, I've always treated you like a brother. How could you do this to me? Joanna is my wife. How could you sleep with her?" Marcus felt no remorse at all. In fact, he sounded entitled. "There's no such thing as first come, first served in love. Joanna may have been with you, but she fell for me first. If you want to get technical about it, Connor, you're the other man. Get it? Are you insane, Marcus? We're legally married. You're just the guy she's cheating with. We've been together secretly for a long time. It was love at first sight. If it weren't for all the pressure from our families to be a perfect match, she would have left you ages ago." I was so stunned by his shamelessness that I couldn't find the words, so I just hung up. Joanna and I were childhood sweethearts. Our parents were close and always hoped we'd end up together. We started dating right after high school, and it just felt natural. Marcus was my best friend in college. Whenever Joanna came to visit me on campus, Marcus was usually around. The three of us became an inseparable trio. I had no idea they were hooking up behind my back. The next day, while Joanna was still away, I went to the hospital for a full physical. I specifically asked the doctor about my fertility. The doctor looked at my results and shook his head. You've ingested a significant amount of contraceptive medication. It's severely impacted your sperm count and motility. Having a biological child at this point, it's going to be very difficult, if not impossible. Even though I had braced myself, the news still felt like a punch to the gut. I had known Joanna for 20 years. Our marriage had already survived the 7-year itch. Before yesterday, I would have sworn that Joanna loved me. She was the woman who would wake up early and drive 20 minutes across town just to get my favorite breakfast from that little diner. She was the one who would stay up all night taking care of me whenever I had a stomach bug. When I was stressed and miserable from work, she would do anything to make me smile. But all of that was destroyed last night. That same tenderness was being given to another man, and that man was my best friend. My heart ached, and I turned to alcohol to numb the pain. I don't know how long I sat there, with tears streaming down my face before Joanna came home. The moment she walked in, she smelled the booze that filled the room and saw me crying at nothing. Joanna immediately rushed to my side, her eyes filled with a concern I could no longer believe. "Connor, why are you crying? Why have you been drinking so much?" I wiped my tears and grabbed the first excuse I could think of, trying to keep my voice steady. "It's nothing, just stress from work. A big project has been stalled for weeks." "Oh, is that all? It's just work. You're about to be a father now. You shouldn't worry about things like that." As she spoke, Joanna took my hand and gently placed it on her still flat stomach. I felt none of the joy of a father-to-be, only a deep, burning resentment for this fraudulent relationship. Then Joanna spoke again, her voice soft. "Can we name him Vance? Connor Vance Miller. Vance. From Marcus Vance." I was just a pawn in their sick game. A wave of nausea washed over me. The thought of this child carrying my last name was repulsive. I forced a smile. "This baby is a miracle," I said, my voice dripping with false sincerity. "You're the one carrying him, Joanna. You should take your last name. Let's call him Vance Davis." She whispered the name lovingly. "Vance Davis, Vance Davis." She threw her arms around me, overcome with emotion, asking again and again if I was serious. "Really? Connor, you'd really let him have my last name?" I replied with a heavy, hidden meaning, "Of course. You've had the hardest time these past 8 years. It's only right that he takes your name." And she had worked hard, hadn't she? Juggling 2 men for 7 years, playing the perfect wife for me while keeping Marcus satisfied. This child was the product of their affair. Why on earth should he carry my name? That bastard child deserved nothing from me. I glanced at the calendar, feigning confusion. "Honey, you're back early. I thought you were staying at your mom's for a couple more days." She squeezed my arm, a satisfied, look-at-me smile on her face. "Our anniversary is the day after tomorrow. How could I miss it? And you know what? This will be our first anniversary as a family of 3. It's such a special milestone. What an actress." Anyone watching would think she was the most devoted wife in the world. Later that night, after Joanna was asleep, another taunting message came from Marcus, playing the sad sack for Joanna. "Connor, don't think your little anniversary means anything. Watch, I can get her to come running with a single phone call." A second later, Joanna's phone rang. Joanna angled the phone away, trying to hide the screen from me. She walked over to the window, cupping her hand over the receiver and whispering, "What? Is it serious? I'll be right there." After she hung up, she looked at me with an apologetic expression. "Connor, I am so sorry. A good friend of mine from my prenatal group twisted her ankle badly. She lives alone, so I need to go stay with her for a few days." "Which friend is this? Doesn't she know it's not convenient for you, especially now that you're pregnant?" Joanna's eyes shifted away as she gave a vague reply. "Just someone I met online. Her husband's out of town. Don't worry, we're both pregnant. We'll look out for each other." She wrapped her arms around my neck, her voice full of fake regret. "I'm so sorry I'll miss our anniversary. You're not mad at me, are you?" My heart was a pit of bitterness. I replied calmly, "Go be with the person you want to be with." Joanna clearly missed the double meaning in my words. She gave me a quick kiss on the cheek, her mood instantly brightening. "Thanks, honey. I'll make it up to you when I get back." After Joanna left, I had my assistant arrange an accident. My parents had passed away a few years ago. I had no other family left in this world. The next day, my assistant confirmed that everything was in place. I paid him a substantial amount of money and stressed the need for absolute secrecy. Then I booked a one-way ticket to Italy, leaving in 4 days. This time, I would disappear from Joanna's world for good. Marcus posted a suggestive photo on his Facebook page. It was a picture of a pair of hands holding a bowl of chicken soup with the caption, "Got a bad cold, but my girl drove over in the middle of the night to take care of me." Feeling loved. I recognized those hands instantly as Joanna's because of the small scar on her index finger. A mutual friend commented below the post, "Whoa, you got a girlfriend? When do we get to meet her?" Marcus replied, Soon, I'll introduce her to everyone before you know it. As if that wasn't enough, Marcus, apparently with nothing better to do, sent me a private photo of Joanna massaging his legs. Your wife isn't celebrating your anniversary with you, but she's here giving me a leg rub. I silently saved everything. The video, the photos, and screenshots of all his taunting messages. A while later, Joanna sent me a picture of the same pot of chicken soup. Hey Connor, everything's fine here. I even made my friend some chicken soup. I just miss you so much. I desperately wanted to ask her if she ever got tired of juggling two men at once. But in the end, I just sent back a non-committal emoji. She replied instantly, I'll be back in 3 days to celebrate our anniversary, I promise. I even have a special surprise for you. A pregnant woman taking care of another pregnant woman for 3 days? Who would possibly believe that story? Not that it mattered. I had no expectations left. I would just treat it as my final farewell to the city. For the next 2 days, Marcus continued to send me a stream of messages, detailing every moment he spent with Joanna. I didn't reply to a single one, letting him amuse himself. On the third morning, Joanna returned, holding out a box with a Swiss watch inside. Tajda, this is your surprise. I spent forever picking it out. Do you like it, Connor? I let out a short, bitter laugh. Just yesterday, Marcus had sent me a picture of this exact watch. His message read, Joanna picked this out for me, but it's not really my style. She'll probably give it to you. You only get my leftovers, Connor. I took the watch, my movement stiff. Joanna's gesture felt so hollow. I couldn't help but wonder if everything she'd ever given me, every act of kindness, was just an afterthought she'd borrowed from Marcus. Suddenly, Joanna gasped. Oh my God, Marcus is in a hospital. I glanced over her shoulder and saw a new Facebook post from him, a picture of his arm with a IV drip. Joanna, who had just set her bag down, immediately picked it up again and headed for the door. I stopped her, asking a question I already knew the answer to. You just got back. Where are you going now? Her eyes were filled with a panic I had never seen before. I have to go to the hospital to see Marcus. You just saw his post. The three of us are friends. After all, Joanna, what about our anniversary? He's a grown man. I'm sure he'll be fine at the hospital. My words clearly annoyed her. Her expression turned icy, and she pulled her arm from my grasp. Connor, Marcus is your friend too. How can you be so cold-hearted? If you won't go, I'll go by myself. We can celebrate our anniversary anytime. We've been married for 8 years. What's one missed anniversary? Before I could even respond, she slammed the door, leaving me alone once again. It was no use. I shouldn't have expected anything from someone who had deceived me so completely. 10 minutes later, another message from Marcus arrived. So, how's the anniversary going? Joanna's back here with me. You can't win against me, Connor. Don't you get it yet? In her heart, I'm the one who matters most. I let out a cold laugh as I read the message. That evening, Joanna called me. Honey, I'm sorry for how I spoke earlier. Please don't be upset. Marcus is fine now. I'll head home first thing in the morning. I've already booked a table at a nice restaurant to make it up to you, so don't be sad anymore. I replied flatly, just want to end the conversation. I'm not upset. I have some work to finish up. I have to go. I was already at the airport. My flight to Italy was in the morning. Let all this pain and resentment just blow away in the wind. I slept on the plane and woke up in Italy. I had arranged for someone to buy me a small house in a little fishing village in Sicily. The village was peaceful, and the locals were incredibly friendly. After I had some time to settle in, I planned to open a small restaurant. I was relaxing on a lounge chair outside my front door, enjoying the breeze from the Ionian Sea. Meanwhile, back in the States, Joanna had just walked into our empty house when she received a devastating call. Mrs. Miller, there's been an accident involving your husband. Joanna was already exhausted from spending the night with Marcus. The news was so shocking, she could barely hold her phone. On the highway overpass, thick smoke billowed into the sky from a familiar Mercedes, now engulfed in flames. Clutching her stomach, Joanna rushed to the scene and broke down, sobbing. She tried to run towards the wreckage, but was held back by a police officer. Ma'am, you need to stay back. It's too dangerous. That car could explode any second. That's my husband's car. My husband is in there. His name is Connor Miller. Joanna even bit the officer's arm, but he didn't let go, his next words shattering any hope she had. Ma'am, please calm down. The vehicle is unstable and could explode. Your husband would want you to be safe. Staring at the inferno, Joanna collapsed, fainting on the spot. When she woke up, the first person she saw was Marcus. Where's Connor? She asked, grabbing his arm desperately. Though secretly thrilled, Marcus forced himself to look devastated, squeezing out a few tears. Joanna, Connor, the car exploded. Hearing the word exploded, 2 silent tears rolled down Joanna's cheeks. She stared blankly into space. Exploded. So there's not even a body left for me. You have to be strong, Joanna. Connor was my brother, too. I'm just as heartbroken as you are. But you have to think about the baby. Joanna didn't want to speak. She couldn't accept that Connor was just gone from her life. She fell into a deep depression for days. And while Marcus was happy to have Connor out of the picture, he found himself growing jealous of how much she was grieving for a dead man. He kept up his act of the grieving friend until a doctor at one of Joanna's prenatal appointments warned that she was at risk of a miscarriage. That's when Marcus finally snapped. Joanna, I know you're grieving, but this is too much. Don't you care about our baby at all? For the first time, Marcus's voice sounded grating to her. Her ears were ringing as she clutched her head in pain. Marcus, please don't say that. Connor and I grew up together. After all these years, I know I was the one who wronged him. I never realized how much I would miss him. I still can't believe he's really gone. Marcus frowned, his voice laced with irritation. What are you trying to say, Joanna? Did you fall in love with him? What about me? What do I mean to you? Joanna was taken aback. Love? A strange, unfamiliar feeling stirred within her. I don't know, she whispered. Her answer infuriated Marcus, but he fought to control his temper. He pulled her into a gentle embrace. Joanna, you're just feeling guilty about his death. That's not affection. It's certainly not love. It was hard to tell if he was trying to convince her or himself. Joanna continued to drift through her days in a fog. Eating and sleeping were mechanical motions. The rest of her time was spent thinking about Connor. Then one day, she stumbled upon a news article about a wildly popular new restaurant that had just opened in a small town in Italy. I slowly adjusted to my new life, and the memories of my past began to fade. I opened my restaurant near the sea, and to my surprise, it became an unexpected hit. People were even driving in from other towns to try it. I was a little overwhelmed by the attention. I thought I would never have to see Joanna again. But one day, I looked up and saw her standing at the entrance of my restaurant, tears in her eyes, staring at me with a look of profound emotion. The moment our eyes met, she ignored the other customers and threw herself into my arms, burying her face in my chest. Connor, thank God. I knew you were still alive. Seeing our embrace, some of the patrons started to applaud. Annoyed, I pushed Joanna away from me and pulled her inside, away from prying eyes. What are you doing here? I demanded. She looked at me shocked. Aren't you happy to see me? I have so many questions. Why did you fake your own death? Why did you run away to Italy all by yourself? Do you have any idea what my life has been like since you've been gone? Every day has felt like a year. I couldn't even bring myself to stay in our house because it was filled with too many memories of us. I had no patience for any of this. My eyes fell on her stomach, which was now visibly pregnant. Looking at her, a cold, knowing smile spread across my face. Joanna, you came all the way to Italy. Does the baby's father know you're here? A flicker of understanding crossed her face, followed by disbelief. You know, is that why you did all this? To live alone in Italy? I retied my apron, suddenly feeling exhausted. If you don't want people to find out, Joanna, you shouldn't have done it in the first place. How long did you think you could keep running between me and Marcus without me knowing? And as for Italy, I've always wanted to come here. You just never cared enough about what I wanted to know that. Now, I have to get back to work. Please don't disturb my customers. I couldn't bear to look at her for another second. I turned and walked back into the kitchen. Joanna waited outside, watching me silently until I finally closed for the night. As I went to lock the door, she grabbed the handle, holding it tight. What do you want from me? I thought I made myself perfectly clear this afternoon. She looked at me with pleading eyes. Connor, I have nowhere else to go. Can I please just stay here for one night? I was immune to her act now. I pointed down the street. There's a bed and breakfast that way. The owner, Mrs. Rossi, is a kind woman. Go there. I have to be up early tomorrow, so I can't host you. And to be clear, I want nothing to do with you. I would appreciate it if you stayed away from me from now on. Your presence is a major disruption. I pried her fingers off the handle and shut the door firmly. I had barely laid down in bed when I heard her shouting from the street below. Connor, I'm not leaving. I refuse to go. If you don't let me in, I'll stand out here all night until you open this door. I checked the time. It was almost midnight, and she was still yelling. Not wanting to disturb my neighbors, I sighed and went downstairs to let her in. A smile spread across Joanna's face. Connor, I knew you wouldn't leave me out here. Annoyed, I pulled out my phone and called Marcus right in front of her. Marcus, your precious Joanna is here in Italy. If you have any sense, you'll get on the next flight and come get her. Before I could finish, Joanna tried to grab the phone from my hand. Connor, this is about us. Why are you bringing him into this? I could only imagine what Marcus was thinking on the other end of the line. The irony was staggering. I turned back to Joanna. You have the nerve to call him irrelevant? Whose baby is that in your belly? You truly have no shame. Joanna. I played the video Marcus had sent me. The sound of their sordid conversation filled the room, stripping away any pretense she had left. Joanna bit her lip, her face flushed with shame, her eyes filled with humiliation. You call that irrelevant? Why did you force me to drag all this out into the open, Joanna? You two have been sneaking around for years, and you still have the audacity to show up here. I'm trying not to be cruel, but I suggest you think very carefully about your next move. Her voice was a mix of disbelief and resentment. Connor, why do you have to humiliate me like this? I know I messed up, but we've known each other for 20 years. We shared a bed for 8 of them. Don't you know me at all? I couldn't comprehend her logic. Well, why did she have to feel wronged? Joanna, for the last 8 years, you weren't just sleeping in my bed, you were sleeping in Marcus's too. So who is this poor, pitiful act for? I'm not buying it anymore. And you're right, I guess I don't know you at all. The person who claimed she wanted a baby with me, while secretly feeding me contraceptives. The person who claimed to love Marcus, but then flew to Italy to find me. Showing up here, pregnant with his child. Don't you see how absurd this is? This isn't something as simple "I'm sorry" can fix. I've had enough, Joanna. Joanna shot back. I was young and foolish then. I know I was wrong now. What do you want from me? I'll get rid of the baby. Is that what you want? Right? You were foolish for 8 years. To even suggest that, with the baby this far along, is beyond stupid. I have no interest in second chances, especially not with someone as despicable as you. I rubbed my temples, exhausted, and turned back toward my room. I'm tired. Just find somewhere to sleep. Despicable. Joanna stood frozen in place. Is that really what you think of me? You're more than despicable. Do you want me to say something even worse? I didn't have the energy to fight with her anymore. I just hoped Marcus would get here soon and take her away. The next morning, I woke up to the smell of cooking. I went into the kitchen and found Joanna at the stove. I made your favorite breakfast, just like from that diner back home. Let's eat together. I hated how she was pretending that everything was normal. I responded to her gesture with a cold tone. Marcus got on a flight last night. When he gets here, you need to go back with him. You're not coming back? She asked. I poured myself a glass of water. I have nothing left for me back there. I just want to build a new life here. She pressed on, refusing to give up. What about me? Don't you miss me at all? I looked her straight in the eye and said, enunciating every word, I do not, Mississippi, you, at all. Her composure finally cracked, but she remained defiant. I don't believe you. All those years together can't just vanish in a thin air. Come on, don't be angry. You must still have feelings for me, or you wouldn't have let me stay last night. My patience was wearing thin. It was like she was incapable of understanding what I was saying. Joanna, I do not love you anymore. I'll let you stay last night out of basic human decency because you're pregnant. If you misinterpreted that, then I need you to leave my house right now. Please have some self-respect. Whatever love I had for you is gone. And frankly, your love is cheap. Save your energy for sorting things out with Marcus. Joanna's voice rose in frustration. Haven't you had enough of this drama? What will it take for you to forgive me? Do you want me to get on my knees and beg? Who's the one causing drama here? Whose child are you carrying? You show up here pregnant with another man's baby and accuse me of making a scene? Get a grip. So this is all about the baby. Fine, I'll get rid of it. Is that what you want? You can get healthy again, and I'll have 3 kids with you, I promise. Let me say this one more time, so you hear me clearly. I don't want the child, and I don't want you. You're both tainted goods. I told you, the baby was a mistake from when I was being foolish. What do I have to do to make you forgive me? I was so furious I could barely speak. You need to wake up. I'm never taking you back. Be smart and hold on to your baby's actual father. In all these 8 years, was any of it real? Have some dignity for yourself and for your child. Joanna just nodded numbly, finally falling silent. I went about my business. Marcus was fast. He arrived that same afternoon. He rushed over to Joanna, his face etched with worry. Joanna, you scare me half to death. Do you have any idea? I've been going out of my mind looking for you. Joanna stood up and slapped him hard across the face. Hurt and confusion filled Marcus's eyes. He couldn't believe that the woman who had always been so affectionate with him would strike him. Joanna, what's wrong? Joanna was shaking with rage, screaming at him like a madwoman. Why did you send that video to Connor? She started pummeling his chest, and Marcus, terrified of accidentally hurting the baby, didn't even try to defend himself. I couldn't stand to watch it anymore. Enough, I yelled. Take it outside. You're disturbing my customers. Naturally, Marcus turned all his frustration on me. You bastard, Connor. You must have said something to turn her against me. Marcus had to be delusional to think this was somehow my fault. Dude, you're the one who sent me the video. Did you really think I wouldn't show it to her? Your problems have nothing to do with me. Besides, isn't this what you wanted? Me gone. so you and your precious Joanna could be together? The cheating wife and the vanished husband. It's perfect. Now both of you, get out and let me grant you your wish. But Joanna shook her head. No, I was wrong before. I've thought it all through now. I'm breaking up with Marcus for good. What? Marcus cried out. Joanna, I'm sorry. Please don't joke like that. Our baby is almost here. I had zero interest in their drama. I shooed them into a corner and went back to the kitchen. Once he was sure I was out of earshot, Marcus softened his tone, pleading with her quietly. Joanna, I know I was wrong. I only did it to force Connor to leave you, so that we could finally be together properly. You used to say that if it wasn't for Connor, we could be truly happy. Well, now he's not in our way anymore. Isn't this a good thing? Joanna was sobbing. No, it's not good. It's not good at all. I'm so sorry, Marcus. I can't be with you. I've just realized I've fallen in love with Connor. I can't live without him. The veins on Marcus's forehead bulged as he fought to control his rage. Joanna, you're telling me now that you can't live without Connor? Then what the hell was I to you? You told me you loved me. We had so many good times together. How can you just change your mind now? And what about our baby? He'll be here in 3 months. Even if you don't care about me, you have to think about him. Joanna finally seemed to remember she was pregnant, and she gently caressed her belly. Marcus saw a glimmer of hope, but her next words were utterly insane. You're right. There's the baby. How can Connor ever forgive me if I have your baby? I have to get rid of it. I can't have this child. Marcus's heart went cold. The woman before him was completely unhinged. He slapped her across the face in a fit of rage. Joanna, snap out of it. Connor is never going to take you back. I know him. He would never, ever go back to an ex. This is your child, your own flesh and blood. You can't hurt him. But Joanna wasn't listening. She clenched her fists and tried to hit her own stomach. If you won't let me get an abortion, I'll find another way to get rid of it. Marcus knew he couldn't watch her every second of the day, so he tried to reason with her. I'm begging you, Joanna, he pleaded. He's my child, too. If you don't want him, just give birth and let me raise him. Please. You know how much I've been looking forward to this baby. You can't take away his right to be born. But Joanna shook her head resolutely. No, I have to get back together with Connor, and this baby is a liability. Later that night, there was another knock on my door. I assumed it was Joanna and was about to ignore it, but then I heard Marcus's voice. Connor, open up. I need to ask you for something. I opened the door. Marcus looked terrible, with dark circles under his eyes. What do you want? Are you here to ask for my forgiveness, too? Marcus let out a self-deprecating laugh. Connor, I'm getting what I deserve. Joanna, she's lost her mind. She wants to abort the baby. Then Marcus fell to his knees in front of me, his eyes shining with tears. I couldn't believe this was the same man who had been so arrogantly taunting me just a few months ago. What are you doing? Get up and tell me what's going on. I don't want your apology. His voice was thick and choked with emotion. I was wrong about everything before. I am truly, deeply sorry. I'm only asking you for one thing. Please, talk to Joanna. She's trying to get rid of the baby so she can get back together with you. I know I was a monster and I deserve this, but the baby is innocent. He hasn't even been born yet. I'm begging you, Connor. Please save my child. My heart sank. Joanna had truly lost her mind. Where is she? Take me to her. Now. Marcus led me to a large hotel room where Joanna was tied to the bedposts. If I don't restrain her, she hits her stomach, Marcus explained, his voice cracking. I didn't know what else to do. I untied the ropes and took the gag from her mouth. Connor, she cried out, her eyes wild. Marcus has agreed to leave me alone. Now, as soon as this baby is gone, we can go back to the way things were. There was a crazed look in her eyes. My expression hardened. Joanna, have you lost your mind? You're almost 7 months pregnant. What are you talking about, an abortion? This is monstrous. A child isn't a tool you can just discard. It's a sacred responsibility. And let me be perfectly clear, even if you got rid of the baby, I would never take you back. You're not a child anymore, Joanna. You're a grown woman. You need to stop acting on these insane impulses and think for once. I finally get it now. You don't love anyone. You've only ever been selfish. You loved Marcus while you were married to me, and now that we're apart, you want me back. Joanna screamed. I know I was wrong. I don't want the baby. I really do love you. A child is not a stepping stone for your love life. That is a living human being inside you. You don't deserve to be loved by anyone. The baby isn't the problem here. You are. No one is holding you back but yourself. I just let her have it. I was completely fed up. When she didn't argue back, I continued. I've tried to be reasonable, but if you're incapable of understanding, there's nothing more I can do. Whether you keep this baby or not is none of my business. I only came here to tell you one thing. The biggest regret of my life was marrying you. You destroyed my marriage. If you have a single shred of decency left, you will take responsibility for the life you are carrying. Joanna just stammered, unable to form a coherent sentence. I what? People like you are never satisfied. You always want what you can't have. You treat love, marriage, and even motherhood like it's all just a game. Stop the drama. The man in front of you still loves you. You two should try to make a life together. I've said my piece. The rest is up to you. After that, I walked out without a second glance. I never saw Joanna again. The next time I heard anything about her was in an email from Marcus. Thank you, Connor. It read. We had a daughter. If it wasn't for you, she might never have been born. Joanna was unstable after she came back, and after the baby was born, she had a complete breakdown. Her parents put her in a long-term care facility. I hope you're doing well in Italy. He had attached a photo of himself holding a newborn baby. One day, a postcard arrived in the mail. The familiar handwriting on the back was filled with apologies. Joanna had wasted 8 years of my life. Now she was institutionalized, which somehow made my own story feel even more absurd. Her apology meant nothing to me. I tossed the postcard into the fire. Let the fake, useless words turn to ash. I turned to watch the sunset over the sea. I was no longer bound by any of it. Why bother looking back at the past? Marriage, love, none of it could compare to the sunset right in front of me.